Good afternoon, gardeners. So I didn't think I would be making this video for a little while longer, but unfortunately, I went out to my garden tonight and saw the squash vine borer moth. Sorry about that. One of the chaos makers decided to make their presence known. So given they seem to be coming out early, I'm going to give you a few steps that you can start doing now to help deter the moths from laying their eggs on your plant. There are further steps that you can do once they have laid eggs, once they've started burrowing into your squash plants. But for now, we're going to try to deter them as long as possible because it is mighty early to be seeing these guys. All right, so to deter them, I've got good old neem oil, cold pressed neem oil. It's not going to kill them. It's at best going to help them stay away. And then I swear by BT Thuricide. It is a bacteria that is harmful to grubs and worms and things along those lines. If they ingest it, they basically lose their appetite and starve to death. Now, this isn't going to do much for the moths, but if they already laid eggs in my garden and those eggs hatch before I find them, the little baby grubs, if they snack on the BT at all, will die before they can do any damage. So we're starting early, hoping for the best. I'm actually going to mix both of these in with water diluted in my 1 gallon sprayer. Is this 1 gallon? Yeah, that's 1 gallon. I am going to spray every single one of my squash plants. Top of the leaf to very bottom of the stem, cover every inch I can. Hopefully it can stave them off for just a little bit longer because I'm not ready to start that fight. It's way too early. In our area, zone 8B in South Carolina, they usually start coming out end of May, beginning of June is when you start seeing the activity, but it is May 1st. So they are ahead of schedule, but we have had an unusually warm spring. I can't say I didn't see it coming, but I was hoping it wouldn't. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed up, meet you outside. It is quite windy out there. We've had some horrible windstorms come through for the last 2 days. I apologize if that just makes the sound awful or if you can't hear me, but we'll hope for the best. All right, see you in a minute. All right, so we are out in the garden. Hopefully you can hear me okay. It is quite windy. I have mixed up my neem oil and BT mixture. Now, do not get overexcited and double the dose. It's not going to do anything to help your situation. It may potentially even burn your plants. And in addition, neem oil, especially BT to a degree, do not apply during the heat of the day. Wait until the sun has gone down or late afternoon, evening when your garden is no longer in full sun. You can also do it really early morning. I prefer to do it in the evening because if it does get really warm and it hasn't completely dried on your plants, it can still burn them. So be very careful with that. They do wash off in the rain. So if you get rain or you top water on accident, you may need to reapply. And just keep reapplying every so often, depending on how you see the threat. If you start noticing more activity, go ahead and reapply. If it seems stable, maybe once a week, as long as you don't get any rain. I will go ahead and set you up here so you can see what I'm doing from a distance. Fingers crossed this was just a fluke moth and we're not in for a rough pest summer. Alright, so I have a lot more squash to spray down. You get the gist of it from that clip there. I'm going to go ahead and finish spraying. Make sure when you're spraying for the adult moth, you want to try to get the base of the plant as well as you possibly can around the soil line. That is where the eggs are going to be laid. Tops of the leaves and undersides of the leaves are where the moths are going to rest and try to attract a mate. I did apply beneficial nematodes to my garden about a week ago. This is my first year trying them. I can't remember the name of the company I got them from. I'll have to look it up, but I will put it in the description of this video in case you want to take a look at it. Supposedly, these beneficial nematodes go after the larvae of squash vine borers and flea beetles, Japanese beetles, which I have a big problem with Japanese beetles. So we will see if that helps this year. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep spraying. Make sure you get some BT if you have bad squash bugs in your area. Despite the spraying, you may still have to fight them off once they've entered your plant. And for that, you'll definitely need BT and a syringe. So I finished spraying all the squash for squash vine borers, and I noticed that I had the starting signs of powdery mildew on a couple of my squash plants. Great thing about neem oil, I call it the powdery mildew magic eraser. If you catch powdery mildew early on, you can get rid of it completely with neem oil. We've had a couple wet days, it got really rainy here, and then it warmed up and it's really humid, and clear as day, there's some powdery mildew on my squash. So this treatment's gonna also help with that. And just be vigilant. If you catch it early, it's not going to take out your squash. You can see on some of the leaves here, that white speckling. That is your powdery mildew. And as a comparison to a squash plant that does not have any signs of powdery mildew, they're a really solidly colored leaf. No signs of dusting or powder on them at all. So go ahead and use neem oil for that as well. Again, apply it at night, early morning, when the sun is not going to beat on it and burn the plant. But this should be cleared up by morning, this powdery mildew I've got right here. This one's a little bit more advanced. Not quite sure what happened here. I do think this particular squash has some variegation to the leaf, so it just makes it look a bit more dramatic because it's not really brushing off of the leaf itself. Well, I hope that was helpful information for you going into our squash vine borer season. Hopefully we can keep them at bay a little bit longer, not really have that much pest pressure, and manage it if we do. All right, well, good luck. I'll see you next time.